Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Truth. I'm your host, the one you love the most, Niall Hesson, back with a brand new episode here on The Truth. Back once again with my brother Lucas. And again, chugging along through this series, we have 4 more episodes to go, including this one. So, 4 more episodes of the preseason fantasy baseball as we're getting ready for fantasy baseball drafts, which are starting up very soon. I know ours is coming up really quick. So, a lot of exciting times around here. Again, today we're going to be focusing on the second baseman. If you guys are new to the series, we've talked about first baseman, catchers, relief pitchers, and starting pitchers. But basically, we're going to give you guys our top 10 at each position. We're going to highlight 3 each. Well, actually, I highlight them for Lucas, but we're going to act like we highlighted 3 each to give you 6 total players to kind of break down a little bit further. So we're not sitting here for 40 minutes talking about every single player on our list. So anyways, how it's going to work is I'll go ahead and read the second baseman rankings for Lucas and then myself. So Lucas has Mookie Betts, Ketel Marte, Jose Altuve 3, Ozzie Albies 4, Marcus Semien 5, Luis Garcia 6, Jordan Westbrook 7, Nico Hoerner 8, Matt McClain 9, and Luis Rengifo 10. I have Mookie Betts 1, Ketel Marte 2, Ozzie Albies 3, Matt McClain 4, Jose Altuve 5, Marcus Semien 6, Xander Bogaerts 7, 8, Andres Jimenez, 9, Jordan Westbrook, and 10, Jackson Holiday. So should be fun to discuss here. Lucas, go ahead and discuss your number 4.
Yeah, number 4 for me is Ozzie Albies. He's been around a really long time, which is kind of surprising to see. He's been around since 2017, and he's put up numbers, very good numbers since 2017. He's still only 28 years old, but 2024, only 99 games. He broke his wrist in July. But 2023, he had an unbelievable season. 600 at-bats, 30 doubles, 33 bombs, 109 RBIs, 46 walks, 13 steals. Again, it's not really a factor, but he hit 280, 340 on base, slugged over 500, which is really good, especially from the second base position. And he had an 849 LPS. That's all-star numbers right there. And throughout his career, I mean, he's a 792 career LPS guy. He's a 270 career hitter. He will get on base. He will get extra base hits. He will get RBIs. Again, the Atlanta Braves are always really exciting, and I think Albies is, I wouldn't say he's underrated, but he's just been doing this for so long. I don't think people realize how good he is at it. That's why he's still employed in a really competitive team. I don't know how much years he's left under contract, but I know he was part of that big extension group. Question is, can he stay healthy? I mean, 118 games or 247 at bats in 22, 400 this year or this last season. So if he can stay healthy, which is kind of what I'm banking on, which is obviously what I'm banking on, he's going to give you 30 doubles, 30 bombs, upside wise, 100 RBIs, hopefully. He's going to get on base. And that's just, I really like to see that. Again, second base position is, I feel like for a while, it hasn't always been an offensive friendly position, but that's really changing the past couple of years. And Albies is a guy I really like.
So for me, I'm going to talk about my number 4, and it's going to be Matt McClain. Now, I think that is a pretty high ranking for a guy like Matt McClain, who's going to be entering his second season technically after missing all of last year due to a shoulder surgery. But I think honestly, again, I feel like second base is kind of the same as catcher, where it's like it's not necessarily an offensive dominant position, but there's also some guys that are solidified at the top, but then there's kind of a range of people that you just don't know much about. I think Matt McClain is definitely one of those guys. I mean, obviously, in his rookie season there with Cincinnati, had a pretty good year. I mean, batted 290, 16 home runs, and 50 RBIs. Oh, sorry, Lucas. I didn't realize that I highlighted Mac McClain, but you talk about somebody else then. I honestly didn't even realize that I did. I was just so excited to talk about him. But yeah, so 16 home runs, 50 RBIs. He also stole 14 bags. One thing or one area of concern I will say maybe a little bit is the strikeout numbers. Basically striking out one every 3, every 4 times, striking out a little bit more than once a game. That's the only downside. But from that rookie season, I saw a lot of potential there with him. And I think, a lot of growth, which is the biggest thing in that rookie season. Now, the biggest thing is, can he get adjusted to spring training? And then more so, can he get adjusted to getting back into playing? He didn't play 162 games. He only played 89 games. But that was one of the things that I think excited me. The fact that he played 89 games, had 16 home runs, 50 RBIs, and batted 290. So again, second base is kind of a random fluctuated position where some guys have tons of power, whereas other guys don't. So I don't know. I think this is one of those positions where I think people should kind of start to buy the hype on him, especially since he'll be extremely undervalued, in my opinion, as the 8th best second baseman. Well, go ahead and pick the second guy you want to talk about.
Yeah, second guy I'll talk about is my number 6 guy is Luis Garcia Jr. in Washington. He's someone who I really think is underappreciated. Really broke out last year in Washington, and Washington is always a really interesting, aka bad team. 140 games, 500 at bats, 25 doubles, 18 home runs, 70 RBIs. The thing I really like is he had 22 stolen bases, and that was kind of an outlier considering his previous career high was only 9. But again, he hit 282, 318 on base, 444 slug, 762 OPS. He's getting on base and he's doing things well. That's what I like to see. He's young. He really broke out last year. The question is again, can he sustain it? Because he really wasn't an amazing player before. Like he's not someone whose rookie card is going to have a lot of value because he hadn't proven himself until last year, which is why I think people should be higher on him this year. But he's been around. He's a veteran, quote unquote. This would be his 5th year. He hasn't really played a full season other than last year, but still, he's been around for a while. And the Nationals, I don't know. I mean, they made some additions like Nate Lowe and things like that. But the question is, can he keep hitting? Nationals exciting lineup, and can he keep putting up this production that he did last year? Again, you're not going to get like 25 bombs, or you might, hopefully, but you'll get 20 bombs. You'll hopefully get 85 ribbies. Hopefully, he'll get on base at a decent clip, and he'll give you a lot of power. That's what I hope. Any guy who's getting me 25 steals from the second base position is someone I really like. That's why I'm really high on Garcia. I think a lot higher than the projection systems are. I just like what I've seen out of him so far.
So my next guy that I'm going to talk about is my number 7 spot, and it's Xander Bogaerts. Now, I don't know how I feel about Xander Bogaerts as far as sleep or bust. I know I talked about him, but I kind of feel like he's a mixture of both just because he is 32. It's actually kind of funny. I feel like he's a guy that's actually younger than he really is just from seeing him play, but he is 32. This is his third season in San Diego after spending the first 9, 10 years in Boston. Had really good years in Boston. I mean, 2019, I think a lot of people remember 33 home runs, 117 RBIs, and batted 309 and finished in 5th in AL MVP voting, which a blast for the past, man. That was the day when Mike Trout won AL MVP. Like, can we go back to those days? DJ LeMahieu finished 4th. Like, life was good. Xander Bogaerts finished 5th. But obviously in San Diego, hasn't necessarily been the start, especially last year that I think people were expecting. Last year, played only 111 games, had 11 home runs to 44 RBIs, had 13 stolen bags and batted 264, which was a 20% drop on his average. Hit 8 less home runs and 14 less RBIs. Did play in about 40 less games, so bear that in mind. But still, I think he's one of those guys that are just people don't know what to do about him because you look at the shortstop position like, hey, Xander Bogaerts could be a good guy that somebody picks up that is a little bit later in draft that is able to have success. True. But there's also the risk to that. I think a big part of his kind of appeal factor is the fact that he hits in San Diego's lineup. There's a lot of great guys in that lineup that can consistently drive in runs, drive him in. He can hit runs in as well. So there's a lot of things that point to him being a very effective player in San Diego. And I think the biggest thing is when you look at him, especially in some of the other rankings that he's at, especially on, second basemans are concerned, he's kind of positioned at 10th right now. So 10th always is like one of those spots where it's like, all right, he's not good enough to be a top 3, but he's not bad enough to be, bottom 20. So 10 is one of those spots where I think people just kind of have a holding pattern on him. I'm probably going to draft him if he's available. I don't think he will be for the price that I'm asking for Bogaerts, but I think he definitely has potential to get back, not necessarily to that 2019 self, because that's hard to do multiple seasons, but get back to 20 plus home runs, get back to 80 RBIs and batting at 280 to 300, especially at age 32. And he started to pick up the stolen bases a little bit as well. So a lot of things to be excited about Bogaerts, to say the least. All right, and then your final guy, number 8, Nico Hoerner.
Yeah, last guy I'll talk about, Nico Hoerner. He's a really interesting guy, and again, it just depends on what you like, but he is someone who is not going to be someone who's hitting the ball out of the yard. I mean, his career high is 10 home runs. Last year had 35 doubles, 7 bombs, 48 ribbies, 66 strikeouts to 44 walks. Again, I know that does not matter in most roto leagues, but still, the idea that he has good plate discipline. 31 steals is what I really look out for. In terms of him, I'd be drafting based on stolen base and average value. He hit 273 last year, 283 the year before, 281, 302. So he's going to get you singles. He can get you that average number. For someone who you can really plug, let's say you're drafting early on, you got a lot of power, RBI numbers. Maybe if you're looking for that stolen base guy and that average guy, this would be someone you can take. Second baseman, I think this is kind of the more prototypical thought because I don't think second baseman's considered a lot of power hitters, at least up to this point. But again, I kind of talked about that's changed. I just really like him, and I think his value is going to fluctuate again based on not only your league scoring, but just what you want as a player in terms of what's available. If he falls to me, again, he's not my number one second base option. But if I choose not to get Bobby Witt and I'm not going to get those steals, I would pick up maybe like a little Bobby Witt, like Nico Hoerner, who gets on base, who gets those stolen base numbers. I'd sacrifice that power and that RBI potential because I know what I'll get with him, and that's average and stolen bases.
So my final guy is number 10, Jackson Holiday, and this is strictly just kind of like a risk pick here. Look, Jackson Holiday, very highly touted, was a number one overall prospect. I believe he was 19 or 20 when he got called up, but very much sped through the minor league system. And he was tearing it up down there. Obviously, the son of Matt Holiday, former All-Star with many teams. But Jackson Holiday, came up, broke camp, I believe, right? He broke camp, or at least he started very early in the year. I think his first game was like April 10th, so maybe not broke camp exactly, but still very early on got called up. Had a really bad start to his career. Batted 2 for 34 in the month of April, which is a .59 batting average. Got sent down after that April 23rd game, and then kind of picked up steam a little bit. Where he had 3 straight games of a home run, 2 against Toronto, 1 against Cleveland. Hit another home run 2 games later, and then it was kind of quiet again throughout the season. But nonetheless, he finished the season with a 218 batting average, which isn't ideal to say the least. I understand that, but there was some potential there. I mean, you seriously could not have done as bad as he did to start, especially for as highly touted that he was. Actually, he was batting 189 by the end of the year. I was looking at the end of um, October or September, I should say. Batted 189, had 5 home runs, 23 RBIs. Just not the year that you were expecting. But look, this is an opportunity for him to bounce back into Baltimore. And I think, spring training this year was kind of a big year for him to kind of see where he's at. Had 20 at bats, batted 250 so far, 1 home run, 2 RBIs, 2 stolen bags. 250 is livable, especially for a young guy like him. He's in a very good situation where he's going to have a lot of opportunities to hit runs in consistently. So there's a lot of things that are going in his direction that could be very beneficial to him moving forward. The biggest thing is there's a lot of risk involved, but I think a lot of people are going to kind of bypass him because of how bad of a year he had to start the year. But he's currently the 15th ranked second baseman. I think you could get him at a good bang for your buck, and he could be one of those guys that's super beneficial and helps your fantasy team out drastically, especially for how low he will be. I don't think he'll be that bad. I think he can get upwards of double-digit home runs into the 200s and definitely show improvement from the previous year. But I also thought he was going to do that last year, and he didn't. So who knows with Jackson Holiday, but that's why I put him at the number 10 spot. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode here on The Truth. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you follow The Truth on Twitter, The Truth as one, to stay up to date with the latest information regarding The Truth, including podcast dates, podcast uploads, and other important information you don't want to miss. Make sure you guys also follow The Truth on Instagram and TikTok at the.tt.truth. Are you looking to find a drink that offers peak hydration, raises your energy levels, beats up your recovery, and keeps your mind sharp through focus and memory? Look no further than Acid Rainwater. I'm excited to partner with Bloodline Sports AZ and Acid Rainwater, which focuses on peak hydration and productivity while also maintaining ecosystem-friendly product. Use code HESSON15, that's HESSON15 for 15% off every purchase. As always, I'm your host, the one you love the most, Niall Hesson, joined once again by my brother Lucas. Take care and good night. Cool. Are you